In the shadow of war-torn cities, and beneath the rhythmic ticking of countless clocks that measured every fleeting moment of a nation under siege, Emil Novak labored in silence. A master clockmaker known for his meticulous craftsmanship, Emil's small workshop was a sanctuary amidst the chaos. A place where delicate gears, springs, and the art of timekeeping merged with a hidden purpose that could alter the tide of war itself. His hands, steady and practiced, crafted not only exquisite timepieces, but also a secret invention, a device ingeniously concealed within the mechanism of an ordinary clock. The war had torn through his homeland with ruthless force, scattering families, reducing once thriving streets to rubble, and filling the air with despair. Yet, amid this devastation, Emil worked with quiet resolve, driven by the belief that his creation could offer a chance at peace. His diary, locked away beneath layers of dust and secrecy, held the story of this precarious balance, the delicate dance between artistry and invention, hope and peril. Every clock he built was more than a measurement of time. It was a step toward a silent weapon designed not to kill, but to disrupt the machinery of war, a whisper of defiance against the overwhelming tide of destruction. The steady ticking of his clocks echoed like a heartbeat in the dim light, carrying the weight of a craftsman's dream to wield time itself as a shield for those he loved. As the final components came together and the device neared readiness, Emil found himself under increasing scrutiny from occupying forces determined to crush any flicker of rebellion. His every step was shadowed, every meeting veiled in secrecy, and trust had become a scarce and precious commodity. The small network that supported him communicated through coded letters and silent signals, weaving a web of resistance in the dark. Emil's diary revealed the emotional toll of this clandestine existence, the constant tension between fear and determination, the fleeting moments of doubt that were swiftly quelled by an unyielding sense of purpose. His love for his family, images of their faces and the warmth of home, became his anchor in turbulent times. Every tick of his clocks was a haunting reminder of time slipping away, not only for his invention, but for his people's chance at liberation. The moment of final assembly was charged with a mixture of pride and apprehension, the culmination of months of perilous labor, now poised to change history. Yet Emil understood that invention was only the beginning. The path ahead was fraught with invisible threats, and the sacrifice required would test the very limits of courage. The device itself was a marvel of ingenuity, small, intricate, and hidden deep within the ornate casing of an otherwise unassuming clock. Conceived to interfere with enemy communications and neutralize weapons without firing a single bullet, it embodied a new form of warfare, silent, precise, and devastating in its subtlety. Emil was painfully aware of the stakes. Discovery would mean not only his own death, but potentially the destruction of the fragile hope his invention represented. Yet, fueled by the haunting memories of loss and the desperate need for change, he continued his clandestine work, supported by a covert circle of trusted allies who shared his vision of peace through innovation. Long nights blended into early dawns as they labored tirelessly, testing prototypes, refining circuits, and safeguarding their precious secret. The weight of their mission pressed heavily on them, each moment fraught with danger, each small victory a beacon of hope amidst relentless adversity. Outside the walls of Emil's workshop, the world was consumed by war. Guns roared, lives were shattered. But within this hidden refuge, a different battle unfolded, one of intellect, courage, and quiet resistance. Here, the enemy was not men, but machines and messages, and Emil's invention was their counterstrike. Emil Novak's invention was no longer just a secret project hidden within the walls of a modest workshop. It had become a beacon of hope and a target under constant threat. As the oppressive occupying forces tightened their grip on the city, surveillance grew more intense and dangerous. Street lamps flickered under the watchful eyes of patrols, alleys whispered with suspicion, and neighbors became wary of one another. Every step Emil took was calculated with precision. He frequently relocated his workshop to evade detection, using safe houses scattered throughout the city's underground resistance network. His trusted couriers carried messages encoded with ciphers so complex that only a handful could decipher them, ensuring plans and updates remained secure. The device itself, intricately concealed within the ornate casing of an ordinary clock, was a marvel of subtle engineering. Designed to disrupt enemy communications and disable weapons without a single shot fired, it represented a paradigm shift in the warfare that ravaged their homeland. Long nights bled into early mornings as Emil and his covert team tirelessly tested and refined their creation. They labored in near silence, their whispered conversations laced with a mixture of hope and fear. Each adjustment, no matter how small, carried the weight of potential victory or catastrophic failure. The workshop was cluttered with delicate gears, sketches covered in notes and calculations, and the soft ticking of countless clocks marking the relentless passage of time. The team faced immense challenges. Materials were scarce, making every component precious. Sterilization was a luxury they could seldom afford, increasing the risk of malfunction, and the psychological strain was immense. Emil's diary entries reveal moments of profound exhaustion, yet also fierce determination. He described the solidarity of the team, their unwavering belief in the mission, and the sacrifices they were willing to endure. Meetings were held in basements, abandoned buildings, and hidden rooms where the air was thick with tension and hope. Every glance carried suspicion. Every word was weighed carefully, for the threat of betrayal loomed large. Despite this, Emil's resolve never wavered. He was fueled by memories of his ravaged homeland, the faces of those lost, and the dream of a future where war was not the language spoken. The stakes had never been higher. Discovery would mean not only the end of the invention, but the destruction of the fragile resistance network that relied on it. Allies became confidants, and trust was a precious currency. The team had to navigate a labyrinth of danger, balancing the need for secrecy with the urgency to deploy their invention. Emil understood that invention alone could not end the war. It required strategy, sacrifice, and timing. His diary spoke candidly of these fears and hopes, painting a vivid portrait of a man burdened by responsibility, yet inspired by possibility. The clock ticking in his workshop was more than a timekeeper. It was a symbol of resistance, a heartbeat that measured not just hours and minutes, but the fragile hope for liberation. With every turn of the gear, Emil's silent rebellion against tyranny grew stronger, a testament to human ingenuity and courage in the face of overwhelming darkness. The night air was thick with tension as Emil and his team prepared to deploy their invention. Each member understood the gravity of the moment, not just for themselves, but for an entire nation desperate for a glimmer of hope. The device, disguised as a simple clock, was packed carefully into waterproof containers and handed over to trusted resistance couriers who would smuggle it through enemy lines. The journey was perilous, checkpoints bristling with armed guards, informants lurking in shadows, and the constant threat of betrayal meant that failure was a constant companion. Yet the conviction driving them forward was unshakable. Emil's diary entries from this period reveal a mosaic of emotions. Fear intertwined with hope, despair tempered by determination. He wrote of quiet moments of reflection, where the magnitude of their mission weighed heavily on his soul, yet also of the unbreakable spirit of those around him. The resistance fighters who carried the device risked everything: family, freedom, and life, to see it reach the hands of those who could unleash its power. In the hidden basements and secret meeting rooms, where plans were whispered and strategies forged, Emil worked tirelessly to coordinate with allied forces. Communication was a delicate dance, relying on coded transmissions and fleeting in-person meetings. The clockwork device represented a new kind of warfare, one that transcended bullets and bombs. It was an instrument of disruption, designed to cripple enemy infrastructure silently and efficiently. Its success would ripple through the battlefield, turning the tide without the devastation of further bloodshed. Yet, the uncertainty gnawed at Emil. Would the device perform as intended? Would their sacrifices be enough? These questions haunted him, but he found solace in the unyielding faith of his comrades. As the device was activated in a pivotal operation, reports filtered back through the clandestine networks. Communications faltered, weapon systems glitched, and enemy movements slowed. The impact was profound, a testament to months of painstaking work and unwavering courage. Yet, victory was bittersweet. The enemy intensified efforts to root out the resistance. Retaliations grew harsher, and the cost in lives mounted. Emil's diary reflects this duality, the elation of success shadowed by the grief of loss. Through it all, the Clockmaker remained steadfast, his invention a beacon in the relentless darkness, embodying the belief that even the smallest gear could shift the course of history. As the war's final chapters unfolded, the echoes of conflict reverberated through the ravaged cities and battered souls of those who had endured. Emil Novak, once a humble clockmaker, now stood at the center of a movement that had altered the course of history. His invention, once hidden beneath layers of secrecy and fear, had become a symbol of hope and resilience. Yet the path to peace was fraught with complexities far beyond the mechanisms of his device. The aftermath of deployment revealed both triumph and tragedy. While enemy forces were crippled by the silent disruption, retaliations intensified, leaving scars on communities and hearts alike. Emil's diary laid bare the weight of these consequences. The joy of small victories, tempered by the sorrow of lives lost and futures altered forever. He chronicled the efforts to rebuild, to heal fractured relationships, and to foster understanding amidst the ruins. His role evolved from craftsman to advocate, as he worked tirelessly to honor those who sacrificed in shadows and to ensure that their stories were not lost to history's neglect. In quiet moments, Emil reflected on the paradox of war and peace, the fragile line between destruction and creation, despair and hope. His invention, though instrumental, was but one thread in a larger tapestry of courage, sacrifice, and human spirit. He found solace in the faces of children playing amid ruins, in the whispered thanks of survivors, and in the enduring belief that ingenuity and compassion could forge a better future. The final pages of his diary captured a heartfelt plea that the lessons of their struggle be remembered, that innovation be wielded not for destruction but for protection, and that the silent heroes, those who toiled unseen, receive their due honor. Emil's story, once confined to a hidden workshop, now stood as a beacon, reminding the world that even in the darkest times, the quiet hands of creation hold the power to change destiny.